Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Sports Medicine, offering services for sports injury and recovery, with physicians and athletic trainers who provide treatment for fractures, dislocations, sprains, strains, and other sports-related issues. More information on services at stalphonsus.org. Love Boise State Public Radio podcasts? They are free to enjoy, but not free to produce. If you can give, your support helps keep shows like Idaho Matters and Scandalize available to everyone. Donate now at boisestatepublicradio.org.
It's The Connector, Idaho Daily News from Boise State Public Radio, Tuesday, June 2nd. I'm Troy Oppie. Thanks for listening. Here are this morning's headlines. 3 cars have crashed into Idaho rivers in 5 days. One accident was fatal. Authorities still have not found the victim. Fire potential is ramping up in Idaho and across the West, and a new report shows Idaho has the 5th highest rate in the country of children without medical insurance. First up this morning, the brush fire last week near Mountain Home, which destroyed 15 homes, numerous vehicles, and other structures, and injured 6 people, was caused by sparks from power lines blown together in high winds. That's the determination of the State Fire Marshal's office, which led the investigation into the approximately 250-acre fire. Investigators say, quote, clear evidence, unquote, showed that service lines for a well pump house and a nearby garage came into contact, releasing molten aluminum onto dry vegetation below. Idaho Power had lifted those service lines 4 days earlier after a homeowner reported a low-hanging electrocution hazard. The utility, in a statement, says it's contacting victims of the fire, and anyone who suffered a loss in the blaze can contact Idaho Power. Consultants are telling Boise's Auditorium District that building a youth sports facility in downtown could have better economic return than simply expanding its convention space. Here's James Dawson with more.
Earlier this year, the Greater Boise Auditorium District, which runs the Boise Centre, bought up to 6 acres of land south of downtown. The district is a partially taxpayer-funded entity whose mission is to foster economic growth. Consultant John Fleming told district trustees last week that expanding convention and trade show space would net similar revenue over the next decade. But he says diversifying the district's offerings helps during economic downturns.
We see sports tourism as one of the most resilient event markets. That's one of the last places that belts get tightened is spending on kids.
Operating both the Boise Centre and a satellite sports facility, Fleming says, would be a more complex structure than what the district currently runs. Trustees are still in the early planning phase of a potential build-out and are working on requests for proposals. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
A new report from Georgetown University's McCourt School of Public Policy shows Idaho had the 5th highest rate of children without medical insurance nationwide in 2024, 7.9%. That's up 2 points from just 2 years before that. The report examines children's health insurance coverage nationwide. 5.3% of American kids aged 6 and younger did not have health insurance in 2024. That's a full point higher than 2022, and it's the highest rate of uninsured young children in nearly a decade. The percentage doubles for Native American and Alaska Native children. Kids are the least expensive to insure, but young children do require frequent medical visits during early development, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. No insurance is typically a barrier to obtaining that early childhood care. The report finds that Medicaid enrollment unwinding when the government ended pandemic-era automatic medical insurance enrollments likely contributed to the rise in uninsured children, even though many of those same kids likely do qualify for Medicaid coverage, but are simply no longer enrolled. State police say rescue crews were able to remove the truck which crashed into the Payette River Sunday, and they've identified the driver and apparent sole occupant as a 40-year-old man from Billings, Montana. He has still not been found in or near the river, and authorities did not name the victim Monday as they work to notify next of kin. ISP says crews with Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue and the Cascade Raft and Kayak Company aided in removing the vehicle from the river on Monday. Separately, a car crash Monday on Highway 12 near Kuski in North Idaho led to a car rolling over into the Locksaw River. 3 occupants there were able to escape and were taken to a local hospital, according to Kuski Emergency Services. That makes 3 car crashes into Idaho rivers in the last 5 days. 3 other people were rescued from the Salmon River east of Stanley near Mormon Bend on May 29th when a car left the highway and ended up in the river there. Scientists are working to build more accurate forecasts about the amount of water in the Colorado River. As Alex Hager reports for the Mountain West News Bureau, a new study from Arizona State University is using data from satellites.
The researchers are trying to go beyond measurements of how much water is in the river itself. Satellite data tells them how much water is stored in snow and soils to create a more complete picture. Enrique Vivoni is a senior author on the study.
That future forecast, it's what's important for decision makers and planners to be able to make calls about how a river basin like the Colorado River will be managed in the next weeks to months.
As the Colorado River supplies less and less water due to drought and climate change, experts say it's getting more important to track every drop of water in the Colorado River system in real time, so cities and farms can plan for shortages. Alex Hager, Phoenix.
The Summit Creek fire in Cassia County continues to grow slowly, up to more than 1,400 acres as measured Monday, according to the Sawtooth National Forest. Fire crews also increased containment Monday to 53%, according to the forest. Full containment is expected by this coming Sunday. No structures are threatened, according to the service. Fire potential in south central Idaho is ramping up. The National Interagency Fire Center released its projections for wildland fire potential through the summer, and already portions of Owyhee, Twin Falls, and Cassia counties are considered at high risk for significant wildfire potential. All of southern Idaho is expected to become a high-risk area in July, and the entire Northwest, plus Northern California, Nevada, and Utah are high-risk areas in August. The national wildfire preparedness level remains at a 2 right now. That's on a scale of 5. With persistent wildfire activity across the U.S., 2.4 million acres have already burned this year. That's nearly double the 10-year average for the first few months of the fire season. St. Joseph Regional Medical Center in Lewiston was locked down for a time Monday following threats from a reportedly suicidal individual who was already talking on the phone with hospital staff. The Lewiston Tribune reports authorities conducted a wellness check at the caller's residence and found them at home in Clarkston with their family, and the hospital lockdown was lifted. The incident is under investigation. Criminal charges are pending. 4 Boise State track and field athletes are headed to the NCAA National Finals next week in Eugene, Oregon. Abby Kendrick and Emily Jobes both qualified for the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase. Conference champion Kai Robinson set a school record and qualified again in the women's 1,500 meters. It's her second straight trip to Eugene. And Boise State's Raekwon Witherspoon will compete for the men's long jump title. 4 is the most Bronco athletes to qualify for the NCAA Finals in 11 years. The final meet begins June 10th. That's your Connector on this Tuesday. Be sure to like and subscribe to catch up with us every weekday morning. We'll be back with you again on Wednesday. Our general manager is Tom Michael. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our digital strategy manager is Lacey Daly. Our website is boisestatepublicradio.org, and I'm Troy Oppie. Make it a great day.
Each story you hear on Planet Money starts with a question. What happens if we refund tariffs? Why are groceries so expensive? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious, because the forces shaping our world can be hard to see. Follow NPR's Planet Money wherever you get your podcasts and start seeing how the economy really works.